Good afternoon, Matthew. Stephen Roman here, President and CEO of Global Atomic Corporation, and glad to be back on Crux.
And I'm glad you're here too. It's been a very bumpy ride for uranium past few months. I think that's fair to say. And you're going through it yourself. Look, I think the big question on people's mind is around, how do you finance the build out of your project? I guess you've taken care of part of that with the announcement of this 20 million private placement. What can you tell us?
Well, we did a $20 million private placement. We needed some capital to keep rolling for the next few months while we're continuing to work with our banker in the United States. They had a date for us in July. But then there was subsequent events in Niger, the pulling of permits for Orano and GOVIX that caused some nervousness there. The Benine Border situation still not open. So they wanted some answers prior to going to credit committee. And so we provided those. I think it's very clear that we are not in the same situation as GOVIX and Orano, although we had a lot of feedback from the market that, Global Atomic is next. The project's going to be scooped by the government. Well, you know what? We know. I just got back from Niger. I was there in June. I was there in May. We spoke with the government. We've had a couple of meetings with the Mines Ministry. We've had communications with the president. We get along with people that run the country. They've been up to visit our site. They were very impressed. They said, listen, you guys are the poster child for everybody coming into this country. They should be looking at you and what you've done and follow your lead, because we've had a lot of people come in here, promise to do things, they never did them. You guys put your money where your mouth is. You did what you said you were going to do. The project now has 450 people working there. That's ramping up over the next couple of months to probably the 600 to 700 range. And, we're in full build out. The mine right now is down at the ore zone. We've got 7,000 tons of development ore on surface. We're paving the ramp now. The new section that we built, we're down about 1,200 meters with our development, and doing cross cuts now on our strike headings along the strike of the ore body in the footwall. On surface, all of our earthworks are in full swing. We've got our new 250-man camp that arrived in the last couple of weeks. So that's all on site. We're going to be pouring foundations to build that camp. That's going to be housing our expanded construction crew. So, the government sees what we're doing here and they say, guys, you are in a totally different class from anybody else that's been working here. And so we've got excellent relations. And they're very supportive. We expect that to be verbalized for us here in the near future. I know that the president met with his entire council, and everybody unanimously said, we need to back Global Atomic, and we need to make sure that this project gets built. And you know what? The talk that they publicly announced there, it includes the fact that we're doing what we said we're going to do, but it also talks about Niger. So Niger wants to be a sovereign, independent country. They don't want to get input from French or from the U.S. or from any other countries. They say, listen, this is our country. We want to run it. And, this project, the Global Atomic Somita Dasa project, is providing us stability in the Agadez region in the north of the country. It's creating jobs. It's creating new technology. We have kids in school in the Agadez University that we're financing to bring them up the curve in the mining business. We have mentorship programs, all of these things going on. The government sees all of this, and they're very supportive of all of that. So, you know what? I think people need to focus on what we're doing. We get a lot of heat from people. Oh, you're just diluting the shares. Why would I stick around? with all this dilution. Hey, keep your mind focused on the prime objective here is to get Dasa up and running. We can always buy our shares back. Lots of companies buy their shares back. We've done it before in the past with other companies we've run. And you know what? You got to do what you got to do to get the project done. I think we've had the bank concerns answered. We're expecting that they will be going to credit committee. But you know what? We are also talking to other sovereigns that are interested, that are working in Niger at the moment. I'm sure most people know who those groups are, and they're interested in this project. So, there's potential for a JV. There's potential for banking. Clearly, the best route for us is to get the bank over the line, plug our equity hole, and keep moving the way we've been moving. So we've been doing that. We've been doing that now, and but we're not blinded by all of this. We need to look at other options and other ways to move this forward.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. You said a lot there. Usually I do that to you, but
Yeah,
here we go.
a lot.
Yeah, it's true. Right, so you said a lot. Okay, let's break that down. So you're not the French, you're not the Americans, and you're working with the government. I know there's a mines ministry delegation came and met with you on site in May, and you're saying they're saying you're the poster child, right? So that sounds good. Is the bank buying that? What else do they need to hear from you, hear from the government to ensure them that you guys are going to be around?
Well, I think the bank is satisfied that we're going to be around. They like the project a lot. I mean, it is a fabulous project, and it's going to be built one way or the other. It's going to be built. So I don't think that's the issue. They just want to see that the government is going in the right direction. For instance, on the Benine Border situation, there's been high-level talks over the last month between Benin and Niger, and we're expecting that border is going to open at some point here. I mean, that's not just because of us, but it's because of Chinese oil flow going through that border as well in the new pipeline. There's a lot of interrelated activity between Benin and Niger on trade and commerce. And, Benin and Niger businessmen are both hammering on these governments that, listen, open the border because you're just hurting all the business in this region by having that border closed. Now, in the meantime, we're using Togo and Burkina Faso, and we've got another route now through Nigeria as well. But, clearly the most efficient is to have that Benine border open. And I think that's going to happen very soon.
Right. Well, that's a question of economics and margin enhancement if that does happen. But in terms of coming back to the bankers, the messaging coming from the government is, as far as they're concerned, comforting. Is that's what you're saying in terms of not just their reaction to you, but to companies coming to the country and wanting to actually advance projects, spend money, employ people? Is it as simple as that?
Well, I think it is as simple as that. They have to be comforted and be happy that the situation is stable enough for them to lend on that project. Now, the IMF recently put in $75 million into Niger like 2 weeks ago. The only country that voted against putting that money in was France, of course. But all the other countries said, yes, let's put the money in. I mean, you know what? They want, and they've told me this, both the government side and the American embassy in Niger said, listen, they want American and Western investment in the country. And, that's why they're so supportive of our project, because we are investing in the country. We are creating jobs and prosperity for the region. So that's what they want. And I think, it's just a matter of time. These things take a lot of time, and people are nervous because they're not on the ground. I'm on the ground on a regular basis. I can come back and relay it. I know that there's been discussions between the embassy in Niamey and Washington. So hopefully they have enough comfort that we're going to move ahead here. But in the meantime, we also have other discussions ongoing.
Okay, so the bank that you engage with, that's the timing of that is something that you can't control. They've got to get
We
comfort
can't
around this.
control it.
Are they're getting a lot of information? Like, I used to be there, I used to be the person doing this, and there's a lot of desk research, but have they been in country, met with government, had conversations, got comfort
Yes.
around things like perfecting security, should it come to that? How do they have? So you said yes. So what did they go into country with the aim of finding out?
Well, they wanted to find out many things. So both on the security level, but also the ESG level, community engagement. What does the population in the region think of this project? Do they like what's happening there? I mean, they've been there a number of times with various consultants, and everything's been big check, big green check box.
Okay.
And there was no issues.
Okay. I guess time is something that they want to see if it's sustainable. But if they're comfortable, but operationally and things on the ground and the conversations, I guess waiting to sort of see how the market do market conditions matter to them, or is it literally about the economics of this
You know
project?
what? I don't think market conditions matter so much to the banks as the uranium price right now is still above $80 a pound. I mean, holy smoke! We did our feasibility at 35. We did another one at 75. By the time this project starts running and shipping in 26, the price is going to be even higher than that. I mean, there's still a massive deficit in the uranium supply globally. This little blip Kazatomprom is just ridiculous. I mean, 2 or 3, 4 million pounds or whatever makes it not even a dent in the deficit out there right now. So, people need to wake up and realize what the demand is for uranium right now. And that's, I think we're in a summer lull here where everybody's gone on holidays. Hopefully things will return to some sort of normal behavior in September. But we keep cracking on here and building our project, and everybody's very excited. And so we continue to do what we say we're going to do.
It's interesting to me. We've interviewed a few sort of advanced developers in different sets of metals as well. And I think those CEOs who perhaps have been around the block and built a few things in the past, they say, look, if you've got money to be able to advance your project, or even money just to kind of, pace yourself while these kind of market conditions, these ups and downs happen in a meaningful way, I don't really care as long as I can get on and do what I want to do. How do you feel about where you're at in the uranium space? Because again, lots of people talking good game about how many pounds they'll be producing eventually. Lots of people talking about the ability to start building this thing and start financing these things. Not a lot of people doing anything. So I guess we've always called you, first cab off the rank territory. What are you seeing out there? And do you see anyone getting close to where you're at?
Well, there's a couple of smaller groups, I guess. Paladin with Langer Heinrich restarted. There's been some production from Boss in the U.S. There's a couple producers, I think.
Encore,
Energy Fuels is it, and the Mesa Mill started, but you know what? It's a small supply. These are legacy mines that are restarting. We're still the only greenfields project in the world at this point, so. I still think that some of the other ones that are looking very promising are still, at least 5, maybe 10 years out. So it's there's not much out there, Matt.
There's not much out there. I know because I interview them. Okay, so bank good, money waiting for them to kind of move at the pace they want to move at. The alternative financing options. Are you saying that you're currently in discussion with groups about alternative financing, and if so, what do they look like? What could that look like?
Well, it could be a JV.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. In what shape would that take? And what sort of
Well,
company
they
would you
put
like?
up the
Someone with a big
capital,
balance sheet, presumably.
required and earn an interest.
Would that be an industry player or just a pure financial player?
No, they're industry players.
Right. And are you considering money from the east or just purely from the west?
Well, there's potentially east and potentially west as well. Hard to say right now.
Right. Okay. Okay.
I don't want to be too specific.
Right. Okay. But presumably not China, but maybe others. Okay.
Well, the Chinese, as you know, are in the country. So,
Yeah.
yes, we've had discussions with the Chinese.
Okay. That's keeping options open. Okay. I know if I push you, I'm going to get nowhere with that, so I won't. On the money side of things and stuff on the ground, you've explained sort of where you're at, how you're moving things forward. I mean, given again the pace at which the bank may choose to move, and maybe even some of this alternative stuff may choose to move, because the debt side of stuff is always a little bit slower, a little bit more conservative. Will you choose to the pace at which you move on the ground with the money that you've got today in terms of actual cash in the bank today?
Well, you know what? We're up to date with all our payments. We've got some major components already completed, like our acid plant. That's a huge component of our processing facility. That's now been completed, and it's going to be shipped in the next couple of weeks to site. So that'll be the first big component to arrive as part of the plant. Of course, I've mentioned the housing facilities that are being upgraded and expanded as well. And of course, our SAG mill and a lot of other components are now in fabrication. I saw a picture of the SAG mill the other day, and it's being built in South Africa. Looks great. I mean, these things are going to be completed over the next few months and start being shipped to site.
Okay. So in terms of risk mitigation and problems on the ground, not just operationally, but other things, let's bring a much broader conversation. You're clearly focused on your relationship with the government, sticking very close there. Are you going out there anytime soon? You've been out recently?
Well, I was there in May and June, and then I'm going to be back there in the late fall.
To do what? What do you need to do?
We have our SOMITA board meeting we're going to have, and also we'll be up at site, of course, to look at progress there and provide direction. I wanted the board also, which includes some local people, somebody from the finance ministry, the mines ministry, the presidential office. They haven't been up to site before, so I want to get everybody up to site so they physically see what we're doing, what the logistics look like, and all of that.
Okay.
So it just gives people a better feel for the project when you actually go there and see it firsthand.
For sure. And they go and see that things are moving. I think like a lot of companies kind of come on the platform here and go, oh, we're guests in this country. We need to be respectful of X, Y, and Z. It kind of feels like this is the time when it really, really matters that companies totally understand that. Do you think that do you think the government understands that you understand that and are not just here to kind of fleece the country out of money?
Well, yeah, absolutely. The communication has to be always top notch. So we have very good communication with the government. It doesn't matter what government. I mean, we are developing a project in a foreign country, and we need to keep people, whoever happens to be in government and local people, totally appraised of what's happening there. And so we have a very good communication program. We speak to people regularly. We have sponsored events where we have public relations there, talking to people, asking for resumes for work, etc. So, we are a big player in the country, and everybody knows who we are. So, you know what? I don't know if that answers your question or not.
No, it's just like it's the difference between sort of like platitudes and throwaway phrases, generic phrases sometimes companies use. And I think that these are the moments you suddenly realize how important it is that they have done the work, that they are working with the government, because it's given everything that's gone before, and everything you said at the beginning of this interview, which was, if you are truly the poster boy, or you think you're the poster boy.
No, I'm not a poster boy. It's the company that's a poster boy.
I'd say you in the broader sense. I meant the company. Vladimir Putin shirtless on a horse moment. I don't know. It's possible. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fine. So your message to the market, I say, like in a meaningful way, when you've kind of advancing on the money front, perhaps you've got some options in terms of how you manage the timing. But your message to the market, which has sort of come off broadly for uranium recently, reset moment in terms of price, reset in the market. I think some slight disappointment off the Kazatomprom announcement. And not a lot of news on the term contracting side of things. Your message to your shareholders and broader retail investor market would be what?
Well, my message would be that we have a tremendous project. It's the only greenfield project in the world. It's going to be very important for our customers, who are sending letters of support, by the way, to our bankers, saying we need this project. It's very important. We've contracted with this company. Please support us. And with our shareholders, I'm saying, listen, we're going to get this thing done one way or the other. And, we've done what we've said we were going to do over the last number of years since we received our mining permit. And we don't plan on stopping. So, this is full speed ahead, as usual.
Okay. Stephen Lee, I appreciate that. I think there's obviously a lot of moving parts here. And
there are a lot of moving parts.
And you're battling away. You seem to be able to advance this. So we look forward to seeing you soon, hearing more. Would love it if you come back just after you've been in country and have those conversations, because you got a better sense. We'll have a better sense then of what's possible. Appreciate your time.
Pleasure, Matt. Always good to be here. Thank you.